And Nick Bosa, in his last 6 regular season games, Shasky, just 2 sacks, 7 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 16 quarterback hits. Not bad there. But in those playoffs, a lot of people remember the playoffs. No sacks, 1 quarterback hit, 4 tackles for loss in 3 playoff games. So 888-957-9570, because a couple fans hit me up, and I wonder if this is a big deal to anybody, that he only has 1 sack so far in the season after signing a massive contract, which gave him $120 million guaranteed. 1 sack?
Hasn't this been a conversation? Sacks versus pressure, stats versus actual impact since that Super Bowl loss?
I guess so. I've always been under the impression that quarterback pressures, and when you force holding calls or intentional groundings, it could be just as good as a sack.
Yeah, a rush, as I call it. Like you're rushing the quarterback into his decision-making, and either bad decisions, quick throws, dump ball, like whatever.
Quarterback pressures. Are you getting the body on the quarterback? Does the quarterback feel you? Does the quarterback throw it quicker than usual? Is the right tackle holding or left tackle holding because you're getting a good rush or a speed rush or a power rush?
I would think this fan base, more than most, would be sophisticated as a whole to understand that, like, we watched Bryant Young. When he got double-teamed, he didn't do a whole lot other than, like, clog up a lot of attention. And even then, he had 90-something sacks as an interior and edge guy.
Right.
We watched Justin Smith throughout his career eat up double teams.
Which helped Aldon Smith, right?
Exactly. And other people feasted off that. So even if right now Nick Bosa isn't getting the sacks that he's accustomed to getting, he's still having the impact. And then I look across the line. If they had like no sacks or 2 sacks as a team, I'd be like, oh, we're in some trouble here. Look at Javon Hargrave.
Right.
Even Drake Jackson hasn't done much in a couple of games. Like he had a big game week 1. So other people are looking really good. I think Eric Armstead's played really well early in the season.
Javon Kinlaw?
Javon Kinlaw is looking really good. So look, would I like him to get sacks? Of course. Sacking the quarterback puts them back beyond the sticks, keeps them off schedule. It's a great statistic to have as a feather in your cap. But a throwaway or a check down that doesn't get a first down or whatever can be just as effective as a sack, depending on the circumstance. I do feel like we box score watch too much.
Yeah, no, I've been on this for a long, long time when it comes to the sack numbers.
Not worried.
I'm not worried either, but there are people who are worried. Double and March, this is a great one here on YouTube. Double and March. Ponte, there's Bosa gravity like there's Steph Curry gravity.
Exactly.
The greats impacts others to be great. And she's absolutely spot on there. The great ones do cause a lot of havoc there with the attention that they get in Hargrave, Kinlaw. But that other edge rusher, I haven't heard really much from Jake Jackson since week one in Pittsburgh. I haven't heard much from Cleve Farrell, although I think Cleve Farrell's playing to run really well. I haven't heard much from those guys. I'm going to see that other edge rusher eat off of Bosa because,
that's fair.
Again, they're holding them, they're doubling them, they're chipping them, they're doing everything here. And I know Bosa missed the whole training camp, so he's just getting started. Mm-hmm. This could be a big week for him on Sunday. Bosa does wake up on primetime television. He's had some monster Sunday night and Monday night football games. Heck, even Thursday night football games. Let's go to Adam in the City. Adam in the City, I don't think is too worried about Nick Bosa. What's up, Adam? Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Thanks for having me on. No, I'm not worried at all. I think Baldy made a point a couple weeks back when you guys had him on that, Bosa not having the training camp, not being at the practices. When you see him in games, he's just kind of getting stronger. And I think that's just what it is just repetition. I think the more games that, we get under our belt, the stronger he'll get. And you guys made a great point about how he makes other people better. Like, who saw Drake Jackson having 3 sacks week 1? Javon Kinlaw is, up there in pressures. Hargrave has been looking like an amazing signing. He's doing really well for us. So I think it's still a thing that he's impacting the game. There's been a couple moments where Bosa's almost there, and I just think it's a thing that the more games he plays, the stronger he's going to get. And I just think you need to give it time, so I'm not worried.
Good call, Adam. Good call. Let's go to Verducci up in the El Dorado Hills. Verducci, what's happening?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Good morning. Just like that previous caller, I'm not worried. Bosa affects the game in all different facets. I also think behind the scenes with his work ethic, you also got to consider that we have a new defensive coordinator, so he's still getting adjusted to him. But if this becomes a problem where we're in the middle of the season and maybe only has 3 or 4 sacks, it might be something where you address getting someone on the other edge. But I think Farrell and Jackson, Jackson's young. It takes time for him to get acquainted, obviously, with the new defensive coordinator and just being within the league and having just the repetitions underneath his belt. So at the end of the day, baby, I look at wins. That's all that matters. If Purdy's doing Purdy things, we'll be okay. And, excited for this weekend, guys. So hopefully you guys will bring the Rucks to Levi Stadium.
Verducci, real quick, who's more valuable? Who's more valuable to the offense, McCaffrey or Purdy? And he's gone just like that. Just like that. Guys, just hang up, man.
Here's what I would say.
Good callers.
It is very difficult for the elite pass rushers to play well and not get 10 sacks in a season.
Right.
You're not going to get 25 every year. We all agree there. But it would be, if this is something where he's at like 1 or 2 sacks and we're in week 9, okay, now I'll maybe listen to some of the criticism. I just don't think we're anywhere near that. And then you see a game like over the weekend, which is a great example. Drake Jackson got 3 sacks in week 1.
Right.
Khalil Mack got 6 sacks over the weekend.
6 sacks. He's now tied for the league lead.
He might go 2 months without getting a sack.
He's now tied for the league after one. He had no sacks through the first 3 weeks of the season.
So
picked up 6.
Some of the more I wouldn't say easier, but maybe advantageous situations might be presenting themselves on the schedule as we move forward. You would have thought that Arizona would have been one of those matchups, but I thought Dobbs did a great job getting rid of the ball.
He did get rid of the ball.
And I thought that he moved, and I thought they kept him on the move. Why? Because of Bosa.
Jerry Rice coming up at 8 o'clock. T.O. at 9:30. The GOAT, Jerry Rice, at 8 o'clock. He's had some memorable moments in this Dallas series. We'll get his take on what's to come on Sunday between the Niners and the Cowboys. T.J. Watt tied for the league lead with 6 sacks. Josh Allen, 6 sacks. Myles Garrett, who the Niners will see in a couple weeks, 5.5 sacks. And Danielle Hunter in Minnesota with 5. Danielle's on a 1-year deal. He may be more attainable than Brian Burns. Bookmark that, folks. Danielle Hunter, if he becomes a tradable asset for the Minnesota Vikings.
I just wonder how many people out there are, not that they don't think Bosa's done, or no one says that. He just got paid a lot of money. But now that he has got paid a lot of money, maybe they expect more.
Yeah, well, 650 expects more. Comcast Business Sex Line.
What are they saying?
It's a bit concerning because if he is not getting sacks, that means other players should be benefiting. However, other players are just having average games. So what has Bosa done to make others better?
Well, I would say him and Javon Hargrave look pretty damn good right now.
Yeah, Javon Hargrave looks good.
Do I keep saying Javon?
Yeah, Javon Kinlaw.
Javon, sorry.
No, I hear a lot of people say Hargrave, McDaniel. It all happens. Deebo Samuels, like Mike Tomlin. The Deebo Samuels, the George Kittles.
I don't like any of it, to be honest with you.
The Space Heaters.
Splash.
Najee Harris. Is that Rod Kroitek for the San Francisco Chronicles? Kind of like that. San Francisco Chronicles. Anyway. Bosa. Worried about his sack total. Gabriel, Orange County. What's happening? You're on the roast.
Hey, Bonte. What's up, Shasky?
What's up, Gabriel?
Okay, so first of all, we got to remember something. Something that's real important is that, and we forget it a little bit, I think a lot of Niner Nation forgets it, Niner Empire forgets it, is that he didn't have a training camp. He didn't play in the preseason. That's about a good month long of constant action within his game. And so now we're kind of getting to that time frame where, like, if you layer it, that would have been the amount of time that he would have, and preseason. We're getting into the 5 weeks in. So I think from here moving forward, those sacks are going to come in. I mean, it's a game of numbers. I mean, he has the highest pressure rate in the league. So all that's going to start stacking up. We just got to be patient with him because he's getting in there. He's getting really close. He did that one 2-point conversion stoppage, right? Obviously, it doesn't count as a sack, but he's making an impact in every game. And then you also got to look at the numbers of the offenses that are playing against him. They're not doing great. Those offenses are not doing great. So it's there. I think it's there. We just got to kind of be a little bit more patient with him. Bosa is going to be Bosa when the game's on the line, I think.
I think that's a great point. And, like, we've talked a lot about his brother. and I think his brother's a good player. But like every week I look up, and I know it's bigger than him. They're giving up 30, 35 points every week.
Right.
And I don't really see that Bosa having a lot of impact. And everyone tells me how great he is. And I think, but like, if the Niners were giving up 30 every week and he didn't have the sack numbers,
they're giving up 14.5 points per game.
That's what I'm saying.
Teams can't run the ball against
Daniel
them.
Jones couldn't wait to get rid of the ball. Hike, go.
And just sitting at SoFi, for example, and watching that second half buck up against the LA Rams.
I thought Stafford did a great job moving around.
Yeah, he did. But in that second half, Steve Wilkes used a couple more blitzes. And then Bosa started pushing that pocket.
Gotcha.
And as that game wore on, it was like, oh, Bosa's getting closer. Bosa's getting closer. Bosa's getting closer. And then you get the Matthew Stafford interceptions. You get Matthew Stafford all of a sudden throwing the ball on the turf. All of a sudden you get the Rams getting called for offensive holding calls. And all of a sudden groundings. And Bosa's just in that back. I watched Bosa be relentless in that football game.
So to him, to you, he looked the same.
To me, there's not a big drop off.
Because I did see a different player in the playoffs last year.
Well, I saw a player who
he looked compromised.
He may have been compromised. He didn't come out and say it. He got shut down in the playoffs.
That's what I'm saying. He looked different in the playoffs.
So Lane Johnson took his lunch.
Yes.
Tyron Smith took his lunch.
But I'm not seeing that through the first 4 games.
No. I'm seeing a guy who's playing like Nick Bosa.
Yes,
it's just
a
matter.
distinction.
It feels like there's just a matter of time. But sack numbers are important to a lot of people. When you look at the contract and you look at the guaranteed money, a lot of people will say, well, I'm paying him 120 to get 15 sacks a game. TJ Watt, he's sitting there in Pittsburgh saying, I got 6 already through 4 games. And they know I'm coming. And he's beating double teams. He's beating single coverage. He's beating triples. He's doing whatever he got to do to get to the quarterback. So there is something to finishing a play. Is Bosa finishing? It's getting close.
Like, the game against Kansas City in the Super Bowl, I just distinctively remember lots of people saying, well, Bosa didn't register a sack. They didn't register a sack. They're the best defense in the league. And I'm like,
go back and watch the game.
He was the best player on the field outside of Mahomes.
Go watch the game. Watch the game.
But I think not all of us and not the majority of our listeners. I do think it's difficult when you're not sacking the quarterback for most people because they're following the football as the game is being showed, on television. They're not necessarily studying sophisticated offensive and defensive line play.
No doubt.
Wouldn't you agree? Unless the analysis by the play-by-play and color guy is breaking that down.
This is why they say don't bring up offensive line talk on sports radio. I love offensive line talk because when it comes down to Super Bowls, whoever wins in trenches, controls the line of scrimmage, ends up winning that trophy. It happens year in and year out, and we still ignore it. But here's another one. And there's a lot of fans who think like this.
Yeah, I would like to hear that.
And I'm not going to say it's wrong, and we're going to get to Moose in Union City.
I want to hear differing opinions.
510 Comcast Business text line. Bosa held up the team for everything he could get and wasn't ready to play at the start of the season. That was selfish. He needs to prove that he's earning his paycheck. So there's fans who say, look, he doesn't have sack numbers. He's not earning his check.
Well, here's a good example. He gets a tackle for loss in Arizona against Arizona over the weekend, where they're going to get him, pinned back real deep inside their 10, and it gets called back because there's a hands to the face of one of our DBs, hands to the face, automatic first down, gets completely wiped away.
Right?
Does that rep not count?
I guess not. It's not on the box score.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying.
It gets completely wiped out.
I don't think Bosa's playing bad. I'm not going to sit here and say, boy, 49ers overpaid him. He only has 1 sack. Watch the game. Moose in Union City. What's happening?
Yo, what's going on, Bonte? What's going on, Joe?
What's up, Moose?
What's up, man?
Hey, man. I just want to thank you guys, man, for doing what you guys do every morning, man. I listen to you guys all the time on my way to work right now.
Thank you.
First off, I just want to thank you guys for always having Purdy's back, man. All these haters out there, man, hating on Purdy. And, man, the kid's doing the thing out there, which I love. And I love seeing it. Another thing is, man, not too worried about Bosa. He still has a high PFF score of 93.8 this season. Like you guys said, the guy is just coming back. He's didn't have no below preseason and camp, so I'm not really stressed out about him. I do think he's about to come out and have a really good game on Sunday. This is the 5th game, and I think he's ready to go, man. And he plays good in prime time, like you guys said. Last time when he played against the Browns and ate up Baker Mayfield. So just wanted to just say that out there. And also, guys, I would love to play a round of golf with you guys, man. So if you guys are down, on me. Let's get a round going. I'm out here in the East Bay. I love this course out here called Dublin Rams Course.
Oh, yeah.
I think we should hit it up.
And you got groundskeepers on duties? On duty?
I don't, but I'll take care of both of you guys. Let's make it happen.
Why are you asking about groundskeepers?
Because your boy's hitting nothing but grass and not the ball. A lot of divots.
When you have certain golf carts, you have the sand
I know.
in there. And
I
know.
know. I'm kidding. I know. I'm learning.
I like that.
I'm learning.
By the way, groundskeeper on hand.
By the way, the Ryder Cup, U.S. got smoked.
I told you, I hate the U.S. team.
Well, Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth on a Saturday when they were talking to each other, and then Spieth goes water. They were so shook.
Yeah, well, Spieth's been shook for about 5 years.
Shook. By the way, big announcement coming up from the Golden State Warriors at 10 o'clock. Big announcement. I think a WNBA team is coming to the city.
Did you see the Twitter account yesterday for the WNBA?
No.
The main Twitter account was alluding to expansion and people begging for expansion, and it was a video montage basically teasing that there is going to be an announced expansion today.
It's coming up at 10 o'clock. I hear London Breed, hear Joe Lacob, Peter Guber. Here some big timers are going to be at Chase Center at 10 o'clock for the announcement of a WNBA team.
So it sounds like you'll be there.
Speaking of which, no, I will not be there because we get off. It starts at 10. We get off the air at 10. So,
well, I figured someone of your status would have a car waiting for you out front.
I'm not that big time.
We got the helicopter on the roof on standby.
Yeah, well, that's funny because our new building, your boys are going to be catching Bart. So where's that helicopter
I
at?
thought you were saying our new building must be taking a helicopter because it's the only way you can get there.
I'm not a big fan of helicopters. I did one helicopter ride over the summer in Maui. It'd be the last helicopter ride I ever take.
I've never been in a helicopter.
Yeah, it was the first time I ever been in a helicopter. It was cool. It was fun.
Hi, I'm Bonte Hill. I'm in a helicopter coming across the Golden Gate Bridge. I'm looking at a beautiful downtown San Francisco as the fog is rolling in, and it's 1988, and I'm giving you the weather and traffic on the nines.
Yeah, that's Sal Castaneda, man. That's his job.
He doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah, well, he used to. He used to be all up in those helicopters. Me, I'll never be in a helicopter. Nor will I ever be a weatherman, because weathermen lie. How the hell did they know what the weather's going to be? Did anybody predict 88 degrees yesterday in the avenues?
Meteorologist.
Whatever. Weatherman.
I mean, it is a science, but yeah.
There you go. Come on.
Did anybody predict it was going to be 88 degrees in the avenues? No, I didn't. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect to have the fan on all night and the windows wide open and my sheets thrown to the bed off the bed because I was so hot. No, I did not expect that.
Apparently it's going to be hotter today.
Oh, great.
Next 2 days, 3 days, it's going to be toasty.
Well, let me take baby Chess to the pool. Could be a good pool day. Then we'll get ready for Commanders and Bears on Thursday Night Football.